Hey, and it's me, Seth, and we're going to be carving a jack-o'-lantern, and we already just got a pencil, and we just drew the face, and then we went over it with a marker so we could see it better, and then we just cut this hole on the top, and then we dug out all the seeds, and we got all the guts and stuff off of the seeds, and we're going to cook them to where we can eat them later on. And this is how you carve a jack-o'-lantern, and my mom is going to show you how to do it.
Okay, like Seth said, we've already cleaned it out. We cut the top, and we pulled out everything, and we put the seeds on a pan, and we're going to watch a video later to try to figure out how to roast them. Here we just cut some basic, or we just drew with, I'm getting mark all over my hands now, but we drew some eyes and a nose and a mouth with pencil, and then we went over it with a marker, and it's just basic triangle things, because every time I've carved a pumpkin, all I've really done is just the basic triangular face. And so we're going to make our first cut. I'm going to try it. It's hard to do it to where you'll be able to see it and to where I'll be able to get to it. But we'll make our first cut in this triangle eye, and we're just using a regular steak knife, and we're just going to cut that. This would be, let's see here. So we're just cutting around where I drew the marker, and you can cut a little bit outside of your lines if you want to, in order to make sure that you don't have marker showing up still on your pumpkin, on your finished product. So we are just going to cut out, and you're making sure that you're just cutting little cuts until the whole thing just pops right out. And see that first one just popped right out, and you can just kind of dig out any kind of, that didn't go completely through the way. You can just kind of cut that back piece off of there, inside of there. If you're going to be putting a light in there to light it up, which most people probably are going to be. See, we just kind of pushed more through. Okay. And then we're going to cut our next triangle eye. And I'm just going to cut outside of the lines just a little bit, so that way I know that I'm not going to be leaving any marker on the pumpkin. And I know I'm turning this away from you a little bit. I'm going to try to, and this is kind of a crazy, disoriented jack-o'-lantern that escaped from the state hospital. So his eyes are kind of his eyes are two different sizes, it looks like. I think it may turn out to where he has two different size eyes, but that's okay because he's insane anyway. And he wants to have kind of a crazy, loony look. So we're gonna make him crazy and loony. Not necessarily on purpose, but there's really no mistakes in carving a jack-o'-lantern, because even if you can do what you consider to be a mistake, you're still, you know, doing fine, because they're supposed to be kind of crazy, kooky anyway. And even if your pumpkin, even if you go to the store late and all the perfectly round pumpkins are gone, that can be even better, because I'm telling you, they can be even scarier if you use a crazy, crooked, misshapen pumpkin. Okay, see, his eyes are kind of two different sizes, but that's just fine. We're not going for perfection cutesy. We're going kind of scary anyway. Because Seth is all about scary. In a lot of ways, aren't you, Seth? Are you all about scary?
Yes. I've got tons of scary.
It seems to me like a lot of times, now if you were doing this for, if you were carving this for your grandmother to set out on her buffet table or something like that, you might want to make it more cutesy. But but we're going for the deranged look, aren't we, Seth?
Yeah, like he is
Slightly deranged.
crazy. Like he's from a mental hospital.
Yes, he's escaped. And see, we've got his kind of
Weird looking
I'm
nose.
just shaping nose cavity here.
Man, that looks terrifying.
It does. And then, so his nose is kind of misshapen. We still want to make sure that we get it to where it's going to show up. I'm trying to get all of the inside area out so that way we can make sure that a light will show up inside of this.
It almost looks like apple.
So I'm just pushing that out. I'm trying to kind of do it quickly because you're on video here. And now we're going to do this crazy mouth. And this is a little bit, if anything's challenging on carving a jack-o'-lantern, your mouth is going to be the most challenging part. But I'm just going to kind of go and try to make these points here on the teeth. Seth's nose is kind of stuffy today, so you might hear him sniffling a little bit. And see this here, I'm just kind of doing it quickly, and I'm doing it quickly because we're on video, but also it doesn't have to, you don't have to say, oh, well, I can't carve a pumpkin because it's not going to be perfect. That's not true. It's never true that you can't carve a pumpkin because it's not going to be perfect. Because like we said, deranged is better. Deranged is better because deranged is what?
Scary.
Scarier. Deranged lends a scary feel. And children, if you're doing this, just like Seth, he's not carving this. He is having his mother carve this. He's having his mom carve it because kids don't really need to be doing this with knives. I know that they make pumpkin carving kits that are more kid friendly. They have the little smaller carving instruments and things like that. And that might be the way to go if you're a kid and you want to carve a pumpkin. Then you might want to get your parent to get you one of those pumpkin carving kits, because a pumpkin carving kit is safer than this old knife here.
Because that knife can stab you.
Yes. But we've always just done knives, and I've always just done these sort of simple triangular faces, and I just go with what I'm familiar with. And we always get a pumpkin a little bit not too far from Halloween, because we don't want it to rot and everything before Halloween. And plus, we just, every time we go to the grocery store to get a pumpkin, and Seth is I'm gonna make sure it's still recording. And Seth is asking for a pumpkin, I usually say, no, let's wait till next week. Let's wait till next week. And I usually just end up waiting as close as we can to the actual holiday, because I just end up being too cheap to spend the money on a pumpkin until I absolutely have to. So today, we are just a little less than a week from the actual holiday. So,
because Halloween is next Thursday. And I'm going to be some scary mummy for it.
Now, with the way that I have carved this, I have left some of the marker on the pumpkin accidentally, but luckily we used washable marker.
Yeah.
And that is going to just, I believe, wash right off or wipe right off. And if it doesn't, it can kind of lend to the deranged look we're going for. But I've already pretty much cut what I know I'm cutting out, but I've got to cut it more so that way that it'll just pop right out. And we're going to have these marker pieces that I'm going to have to test and see if the marker will wash off, because I cut it in a different once I got to cutting, I realized that the pattern that I drew the mouth in was not did not go with what I was going to cut, because somehow I accidentally drew the mouth to have the top teeth pointing up, whereas they're supposed to be pointing down. So I ended up cutting it in a completely different pattern than the way that I drew it on the top. But so that's a hint for you. There's no need whatsoever to use permanent marker. You can just use washable marker. Let me see if this is going to pop out. This whole thing should pop out in one piece in just a second as soon as I get it cut.
I think it's coming out.
It's loosening up.
Yeah. I think it's just about to come out. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
It is loosening.
Hope it comes out.
It will.
Probably need to push it.
I just need to cut it deeper. See, it's starting to come out.
That side is. See?
Some of it came out.
Yeah,
And see, he's going to have a crazy, crazy mouth, I think.
it's a piece of it.
I think this piece is going to come out. This piece should come out next.
Oops. Piece fell.
Come on, pumpkin.
Come on, come on.
Yeah, that piece went inside of it. Yeah. There's that piece.
Yeah.
One more piece. And we're going to wash this marker off. Let me see how many minutes we have left on it. See, look, he turned out really deranged, really scary looking. He's escaped. He's coming after you. You better look out. Let's get a rag real quick and make sure that his marker's going to wash off so that our viewers can see the simple process. That marker comes right off.
Yeah, that comes off. It comes right off.
Okay. And that is our carved pumpkin. I'm just going to clean out some of the stuff that I pushed down inside of there. And Seth, look behind the camera and see if it's showing up.
Yeah.
You can see the mouth and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something, and I hope that you will not be intimidated by anything other than the scary looking pumpkin, but do not be intimidated by the process of getting the pumpkin carved. And have a happy Halloween. Bye-bye.